Hey everyone, it's John C. Morley, serial entrepreneur here, coming at you tonight, this Friday evening, April 22nd, 2022. Welcome. If you are new to my channel, you'll notice in the top right corner, you will see a QR code. Take your phone, scan the QR code, it'll take you over to my link tree. If you're not sure what that is, that's a place where you can find a plethora of information about me, lots of great free content, and many other things to help you improve the quality of your life. If you are not new and you're coming back, well, welcome back, my friends, colleagues, and associates. It's so wonderful to have you here and supporting the channel and absorbing all this great knowledge. But those of you that are new, every single day we have a brand new topic, a subtopic that's based on the master topic of the week. So starting tomorrow, which is Saturday, and then we do that for 7 days. So today is the last day in this series. Welcome. It's great to have you here. And if you are wondering today, what is that topic that we're talking about? Well, it's the last night we're talking about it, which is what to focus on to be a success. Now, we've talked about a lot of things from how to manifest money, relationships, but to be a success, I want to share something that's not easy. And that is you need to focus on being you and being your own best friend and being the person that makes you happy first. What does this mean? Well, sometimes in life, it could be a small gathering, it could be a large party. And for whatever reason, the people that come to that party that you've kind of befriended are not really, let's say, as above board as you are. And they're just looking for a good time, but they're not looking to really care about your feelings, even if it's just friendship. They just don't seem to care if they're late, if they show up and, you're waiting because maybe you didn't get dinner yet or whatever it is. So tonight I want to talk about you. How do you make you happy? Hmm, that's a little challenging. Making you happy starts with realizing that everyone else in your life is there, but they're not here to make you happy. I mean, they can make you happy, but that's not their goal or their job. Their goal is to make themselves happy. So you might say, well, gee, John, my boyfriend, my girlfriend made me happy. Well, that's great. I'm happy for you. But that's not the main person that should be making you happy. You should be controlling your own happiness. So I want you to focus on happiness from within, from your heart, so that when other people out there that you count on and you depend on let you down, you can know that the happiness comes from within you. And if someone else just doesn't put respect towards you or they're just not top shelf people, no need to get upset. No need to get excited. All you do is you just rely on the inner happiness that comes from within your heart. We've all had people in our lives that say, they're going to help us. And I'm not going to single anybody out, but there was one group of people that promised they were going to help with something. And then some other challenges came up. And I get it. Things happen. But in the beginning, they're like, well, we're definitely going to help you. And then for whatever reason, some things happen and they can't. Now, maybe there's some challenges in the family, who knows? But it's funny because you see them always taking care of what they need to take care of, right? They're all so busy, but yet they make time to take care of their things, their family. But when you need something and you've helped them, it's like you become like bottom shelf. My dad had said something to me a long time ago. And it's not to be nasty, it's just to be truthful. No one cares about you except for you. Okay. So, what does that mean? Well, when you're out and you're doing something and you want happiness to come from these other people, don't expect it because when you don't get it, it's going to crush you. And whether you're at a dinner and a friend doesn't show up or whatever it is, You have to be able to pick yourself up if the date or whatever doesn't show up or your friends don't show up and go have a good time yourself. Go take yourself out to dinner. Now, I know it might seem like you're ready to fall apart. I get it. I've been through this before. People sometimes are scum. And the reason they're scum is because they can't be accountable. And the reason they can't be accountable is they're seeing something that looks a little greener on the other side of the fence. So they hop the fence and you're like yesterday's leftover lunch. And I put this in your mind because they're not doing it to be cruel, but they're doing it because they think that what they're involved in is the best thing. But they don't realize how they're hurting your feelings, how they're being disrespectful towards you. Now, they're not being, I want to say, hurtful to you in the sense that they're trying to harm you. But people sometimes are jerks and they just don't get the fact that they're being this way. So, how do you call them on the carpet? Well, maybe you're meeting somebody, right? And I know whenever I'm meeting somebody, I always get there early, especially if they're, as I know, there could be traffic. I get there, I allow like half hour to 45 minutes. So I'm there early. So one time I get somewhere, this place I had to pay for parking and find where the place was and message the person. And I said, I'm here. I know I'm really early. I just want to make sure there was no traffic and it was going to be good. And they got back to me and said, oh, John, yeah, I'm not planning to be there till whatever time. I'm actually doing something else. I made plans with a friend to grab dinner. Now, I'm sorry. When you're meeting somebody, okay, especially around the dinner time hour, you're expecting to probably grab something to eat. But what they don't realize is that something that seems to be, coming in front of their eyes and seeming more important than anything, they don't realize that they had a commitment with you or that they planned an event with you. And then when they come back and tell you that, well, we're grabbing something to eat and, we'll message you back when we're on our way. So now you're waiting there for over a half hour. Now the time comes when you're supposed to meet them, maybe a few minutes before. And they text you back and they say, oh, we're running a little late. We're going to be there 15, 20 minutes. Now you've wasted a whole hour and they couldn't even bother to be on time to meet with you because you were not that important to them at the moment. And so what do? You don't get angry. No. Text them back like I did. And I said, hey, don't rush. Take your time. I'm actually going to head out and grab some dinner. Maybe we'll catch up with each other another time. And that's not rude. That's being polite because chances are they probably didn't want to show up anyway, but they felt obligated because they planned and invited you. Because what they seem to be doing appeared to be more important than hanging out with you. And what really can get your goat is that when you've sent that text back to them, and now you've made the decision to leave there and go get dinner somewhere else, and you don't even get a response to that text. You don't even get somebody who says, hey, sorry we ran behind. Yeah, let's catch up another time or whatever. Or just something that says, you wished them a good weekend. You two have a great weekend. Look, seeing you again another time. When somebody can't take a moment out of their schedule. They have to say, I'm sorry. They could just say, hey, we lost track of time or whatever, or uh, sorry we kept you waiting or whatever. Or even when you said, have a great weekend, they could have just came back and said, hey, you too. But the fact when they ignore you and they can't get back to you with even 30 minutes, 40 minutes, an hour, and now you've gone somewhere for dinner, and you're probably, like most people, you're probably sad because you went to dinner and you're alone and your friends aren't around, and maybe part of you wants to fall apart, which is normal. So you go have something to eat. Hopefully, you don't eat something bad. I know what I did is I eat something healthy, which was a salad and some steak on it. You don't want to overeat when you're feeling bad. You don't want to overeat anyway, but when you're feeling bad, it's like you want to suddenly go for all these things. Don't do that. Still eat healthy. And an hour goes by, the second hour goes by, and they haven't texted you back. Now, I'm not trying to judge anybody, but let me ask you this. How would you feel if you were in my shoes and somebody didn't get back to you? Would you reach out to them again? Probably not. Would you hang out with them at another event? Maybe. But you wouldn't put it on the top of your to-do list, would you? Because they found something else that was more important to them than being on time for a commitment they set with you for over a month. The proper thing would have been to say, hey, this is what's going on, and then when they say, hey, do you still want to go? They shouldn't say that. They should basically say, hey, I actually want to catch up with a friend of mine I haven't seen in a while. I want to get dinner with them, and maybe we can do this another time. See, even though that's a little low, at least it's better than just leaving you, because here's the truth of the matter. That time came when you texted them at whatever, an hour before your meeting, and they said they made other plans to have dinner with somebody first. That gives them a whole hour to have dinner, right? Or even before. And suddenly, your meeting was not important to them. And if you rely on everyone else to make you happy, you will have countless nights that you just can't imagine of people that are taking advantage of you. I don't mean in the sense they're using you. I mean they're using you emotionally. And a good rule of thumb of this is that when somebody you're going out to hang out with, when they can only text you one or two sentences, okay? And when somebody says something like, oh, yeah, we'll text you when we're on our way, you're already there. If that's somebody I'm planning to meet and the person's there, I'm like, oh, gee, I'll be there in a little bit. I'm just leaving work or I'm just doing something. I'll catch you there in a little bit. Not, oh, I made other plans and we'll catch you later. Now, forget resentment for a moment, but when you feel bad and somebody does something like this, don't get angry, don't get mad. Draw on your own inner happiness. What can you do to make yourself happy? Take yourself out to dinner, have a somewhat healthy dinner. And then you can meditate or you can pray about it if you like to do that. And that can help a little bit. I find out that some people believe that if they're not the center of attention, then they want to be somewhere else where they can be. Now, there's nothing bad with being the center of attention, but when that puts you down as a person, or when that disrespects you, right? Because when I told you in the beginning, you got there early, hopefully you'll come soon. And then when they tell you, oh, they made other plans. Now, maybe they should have said that before you even went out there, saying, hey, John, I know we're supposed to meet at this time. I just want to let you know I'm catching dinner with a friend and then I'll catch you over there later. Oh, well, I was planning on us grabbing dinner. You know what? Let's just do it another time then. See, and then you don't waste your time or their time and nobody feels bad. But when it happens like the way I mentioned, the other person has this pit in their stomach. They know they're going to see you again, and they don't know what's going to happen. Now, I'm not going to bring up to them that what happened. They know. But I'll tell you something. If that same person does that again, I won't hang out with them. Is that being stuck up or snobbish? No. It's saying that I'm worth something. And other people are worth something too. And if you think you can just cancel a meeting with me last minute because you suddenly got something else that seems more interesting, that's darn right rude. And a lot of people younger than me will do this a lot because they don't really understand value. They think they do. But they don't care whose feelings they hurt. They don't care what transpires as long as they're happy. Now, I said you should make your own happiness, but I'm also telling you should never harm or discriminate or even judge someone else. So I don't want to judge anybody. But I do want to say that what they did hurts me. And I know the night that I got dinner, I know I was sitting there and I was all alone having dinner. And I had to keep myself from not crying. Because I said to myself, why would somebody do that? When I took time out of my schedule and I was so excited to meet everybody. And then it changed. A day or two before, I got a text from the person saying, oh, gee, it's only a couple of us. I didn't know if you wanted to cancel or not. What they should have said to me is, hey, John, there's only a couple of us. I'm not sure if you want to get together. There's a friend of mine that's in from school, or there's a friend in town that I haven't seen in a while. I'd like to hang out with him. Maybe we can do this group thing another time. And that would have been a lot better than having me go down there, get parking, wait time, and then be told 3 minutes before we're supposed to meet, we're running a little behind. I'm sorry. That is downright rude. And forget judging. Let's just say that it makes me feel bad. And I know if I did that to somebody else, I would think it's rude. So again, I don't want to judge anybody, but again, I want to tell you that that made me feel very bad. And knowing that I didn't even get a response back from the person, I didn't even get a response back. Forget the word sorry, saying, hey, John, let's catch up again another time. Sorry about what happened tonight, or let's catch another time and let's make sure we both are able to meet or something. And I think when you have a meeting with somebody, I don't care if it's business, personal, whatever it is, and someone else, okay, causes that event to not take place. Now, I'm excluding things like birthdays and family occasions, right? Stuff like that, or any kind of major emergency. But when a person decides they don't want to hang out with you because, well, I don't know, suddenly um, I got tickets to a concert. And you might say, John, well, that can happen. Okay, fine. Person comes and says, hey, I got tickets for tonight's concert. And it's last minute. I have a commit with John. I have a commit with Mike tonight. Can we do it another night? You see, that's what a good person does because they value commitment, integrity, and respect. People that don't have their focus on their own inner joy, their own inner light, are going to constantly be switching. Because, again, they think the grass is greener on the other side, but it's not. Imagine you were going out to dinner with, I don't know, maybe 6 or 7 of your college or high school friends. And then let's imagine that only 2 or 3 of them could make it. You're supposed to meet for some outing, whatever. Maybe it's not dinner, maybe it's just an outing at 6 o'clock. And you're waiting there, and there's only 1 or 2 people. And now the other people that are supposed to show up tell you they're running behind. But suddenly they get asked to do something else. Like maybe half hour, an hour before. Oh, we're all going to such and such's and you should come along. The fact that the person doesn't open their mouth and says, hey, I already got plans tonight. See, that's what should happen. But people that don't have a strong, high moral character will just flip flop like a light switch, like a beanbag. And so tonight, what I really want to get home to everyone is how I felt and how I don't want you to feel. Because being positive is great. But when somebody does something like this, you got to be prepared so that you can pour on your own inner joy. Now, you might say, John, that's hard. Okay, life is not easy. But you got to pick yourself up and you got to build your own inner joy, your own inner happiness. You got to be the one that makes yourself happy, not someone else. Other people can make you happy. You should never rely on their happiness as a sole factor for your happiness. Never. And when you tell somebody that I was counting on you, okay? Or you say something like, you always make me really happy when we hang out. And when they know how much they make you happy, they might A, retreat because they don't want to do it anymore. Or B, they figure they could do it whenever they want because that's their attitude. Thus, I want you to understand that you need to figure out what makes you happy in life. Is it singing a song? Is it going food shopping? Is it taking a walk? Is it doing exercises? Is it maintaining your health? Is it certain food you like to eat? Is it cooking? Is it hanging around friends, family? What is it? What makes you happy? but realize that the happiness does not come from other people, it comes from within. If you try to make your happiness come from others, you're going to be disappointed your whole life. When I was in, I'm going to say, I think it was high school. And I remember several times wanting to hang out with some people and go to their house and play. And I remember the couple times it didn't happen when the kid came to me the day of and he said, "Oh, my mom's, cleaning out the garage and you're not able to come over till we'll have to schedule another time." Now, it had nothing to do with the mom cleaning out the garage. That was an excuse because they didn't want you to come over. What they should have had the capital B to say is, "Hey, John. Hey, Mike. I'm I really don't want to hang out with you today. What's wrong?" I don't know. I just don't want to hang out with you today." All right. And that's fine. Now, you may not agree with that, but I got to tell you, when that happens, it brings you here way down. Like your whole day or this whole week, you know that you're going to your friends to play and to do all cool stuff and sports, maybe the end of the week. And they invited you on Monday. And then the end of the week comes. They don't even tell you on Thursday. They tell you on Friday. It's half a day of school. Their parents are supposedly picking you and them up. And then suddenly at 11 o'clock, or even 10 minutes before, you find out that they're not going to be able to pick you up because you can't go to their house. And so now if if you take the bus, you just take the bus and go home. But if not, you've got to tell your parents, "Hey, I need to get picked up." "Well, what happened? Were you supposed to go such as?" Yeah, I don't know what happened." "Oh." And now they harp on it. So don't harp on it. Sometimes I think people make too big a deal of things, but what I do have a problem with is people that make a commitment to hang around with you, to do something with you, and then they decide not to do it with you, not because of you, but because a better offer came around for something that would seem like more fun to them. That's disrespectful. That's rude. And so when something like this happens, don't go sulk. I know when I was younger, I used to always um, put my favorite music on. I used to sing and make me feel really good. And while I was singing, the first few bars or whatever, I'd be crying. And by the time I was done 4 or 5 songs, I felt pretty good. And the next day came, and maybe there was another invitation to somebody else's house or something. And when I was in high school, it was like a big thing to be invited to go over to another guy's house or to play or to hang out or go do things together. And then when it didn't happen, because it didn't happen a lot of times because of them or because one of their best friends said, "Oh, you don't want to hang out with them." And they were so manipulated by them that they were controlled. I knew 2 kids in my high school. They were almost, I don't know if they were really twins, but they were kind of inseparable when they came to school. And then they started to break away a little bit, but that breaking away was really not the truth. Everybody thought they were breaking away and that they weren't friends anymore, but really, they were better friends than anybody. It was just they had kind of agreed that they wanted to get to know other people, but they still were very, very good friends. And I think when somebody comes to you and they suddenly befriend you and then they decide they don't want to be friends or just don't want to do something with you, but they don't even give you a reason. Like maybe you're going bowling with somebody and they suddenly tell you, oh, gee, I don't want to go. But that's not really the reason. They say, hey, John, I don't want to go bowling because I suck at bowling and you're great. Okay, it's the truth. But if they, hey, I don't want to go bowling with you because I don't know, you eat too much pizza or whatever. So I think the most important thing that I want you to understand tonight is that we don't want to judge the person, but we do want to let them know how we feel based on the actions that they're taking. Now, when this happened with these people not showing up, I don't text them back and tell them how I feel. Because if somebody can't get back to me to ask, what did you do? What was the rest of your night like? What did you do? If they didn't even get back to me in a day or so to say, how was it? Sorry, we missed you. Or what was the rest? What did you wind up doing? Or where did you go? If they can't do that, then I'm not important in their life. I'm not important enough of a person that I should even bother. So to focus on being a success, you need to focus on bringing your own inner happiness, your own inner joy. Because if you rely on other people's happiness, you're going to be disappointed. You're going to be crying. You're going to be upset. You're going to be worried. You might be afraid. You're going to be on a roller coaster because you're letting everyone else paint your happiness. I'm not saying you can't be happy with them. I'm just saying that don't let that happiness be the main drive for you. Something they do makes you happy, great. If they're not doing what you want and it doesn't make you happy, well, don't lose sleep over it. Go make yourself happy. I've said before, you have to learn to be your own best friend. Singing, writing, exercising. I used to play ping pong a lot, pool. What makes you happy? Many of you know, being in engineering, I love electronics, so I would always go and build something that would make me feel great. And when this happened, the dopamine in my brain built. And when that built, I realized that I'm a pretty smart cookie. And usually what happened when I was in high school is that when I stopped putting attention on the fact of what they did or how it made me feel, it was over. Sometimes they said they were sorry, or sometimes it just blew over. But when you're dealing with an adult, and I'm talking about people that are like 30 and above, and they agree to spend some time with you, and they suddenly just change their schedule because we got a better offer. That's unfair. And I know, so I've talked to many of my friends that have been disappointed. There's one kid, and I want to share this tonight. It's a pretty emotional thing. It was a friend of mine in school. He was an introverted kid, nice kid, and I got to meet him. And he was kind of friendly, but not. Met his parents, and we talked a little bit. I wanted to hang out, have lunch with him, or whatnot, and he really wasn't into that. But then later on, we hung out a couple times, and he had asked me, where I live. I told him I was in New Jersey. He told me I think he was in Menlo Park or something, which was a stop or two after Newark in New Jersey. And he told me where he lived. I said, Menlo Park, that's like 20 or 30 minutes from me. and said, "Oh," he said, "Yeah, you should come over sometime." Anyway, his parents were both dentists, and I remember him being sometimes depressed. And so it was actually a weekend. It was like a holiday weekend, or I should say a week. It was like our spring break, I think it was. And I remember going back, and he told me to take the train one or two stops past my stop to his stop, and that he would meet me there. And he would pick me up by the car or whatnot. And so I got on the train in the morning. And when I got on the train, we got to um, our train actually was running late. So when we got to New Haven, which was the changing point where they would go from um, diesel to electric, now the whole line is electric. We were on time, but our connection was late from Boston, so we had to wait for that part of the train. So we waited there and waited there, and our connection never came. A couple hours went by, and other trains had gone different places, but none of them were where I was going. So I still had to wait. And then I remember coming back down, and just when I was about to get on the train, they announced to be another delay. So we got into Newark, except in New York first, and there was a little bit of a delay there. Now we're like 2 hours delayed. And I wanted to call my friend. His name was Craig. I wanted to call him and say, "Hey, Craig, I'm running behind, buddy. I'm gonna get there. This train's been a ride from you know what." And he said, "Hey, this is Craig. Just leave me your name and number, and I'll get back to you. Talk to you later." And I got his voicemail. So we're now getting to Newark. I called him again, and nothing. Just got the same voicemail. And now we're in Menlo Park, and I get off the train. I call him, and same voicemail. I don't get him. He's not there. And I said to myself, I said, "Where's Craig? I don't know where he lives. I don't really know a lot about him except his name, and I had his number, and I didn't know like exactly where he lived, his street or anything like that." So I went to the white pages to try to find if there was a number. Maybe I could find another number for his house and call him or something, but it was unlisted. So there was no name in the directory. And I waited there for a couple hours. No one showed up. So I figured maybe he got delayed or something. And it was almost now dinner time. So I had gotten dinner at a local pub. And I'm there over 4 hours. No one's called my cell phone, nothing. I tried to call him again, same response. I said, I guess I got to go back to Newark and go back home. And so I did that. And about 11 o'clock at night, I got a phone call from his mom. And I said, "Hi, Mrs. Such and Such." I said, she says, "Oh, John." I said, "Hi." She said, "Weren't you supposed to come here today?" I said, "Yes, I was." She said, "Well, why didn't you?" I said, "Well, to be very honest with you, I left early and the train was late. And then there was more delays and more delays. And the train was over 2.5 hours late." She said, "Oh my gosh." I said, "Yeah." I said, I was planning to spend the weekend with Craig and hang out." She said, "Oh, that's wonderful." I said, "What's the matter?" And she's like, um, "Craig's not with us anymore." What do you mean he's not with you anymore? She's like, well, I want you to know this isn't your fault. What are we talking about? Well, Craig had been waiting for you. He got home a day or two before you, and he was waiting for you. He was really excited to pick you up and show you all around town and have fun with you at lots of different places he liked to go to. So, okay, it was great. And he was actually at the station for 2 hours before you got in. 2.5 hours before you got in. I said, "Okay, I was supposed to be there yet. I would have been there, but there was delays. Well, Craig waited. Why didn't he call my cell phone? He lost your number. He went home. Well, that's good. And he wrote a note. A note. He wrote a note. And I said, what was the note about? Well, John, he, he was very high strung, as you know, and he was really excited to spend some time with you. Okay. Both my husband and I were not around, and he had no way to reach you. He didn't have your number. So he figured that you weren't coming, and he got depressed. Depressed. He just had to call me. He didn't have your number. I gave it to him like 3 times. I know. Well, he just forgot to put it in his phone. He didn't mean to not. He didn't mean that. He just never put it in his phone. He had it written on a little piece of paper, but he lost the piece of paper. I'm listening. And we didn't get home until about, I think it was probably around 6 o'clock. Well, that's when I left to go back, about 6, 7 o'clock, because no one was here. We got home, and there was just a pile of blood as he slit his wrists. And I said, he slit his wrists? She's like, yeah, John, this isn't the first time he tried to kill himself. And I was like, I don't know what to say. John, it's not your fault. I had every intention of spending time with him this weekend. I know. And he wanted to spend time with you. So in the note, he wrote down your name. He wrote down, I'm worthless, I'm useless. There's no point in me even living. Even John doesn't want to spend time with me this weekend. What kind of loser am I? If he doesn't even want to come to see me, nobody wants to spend time with me. So he writes down into the letter, um, I don't know why John doesn't want to be my friend and he didn't want to show up. I thought he was a good guy. And since there's no other purpose to be living, I find that it's time that I should just end my life. And I was like, oh my gosh. I know it's a little longer than normal, but and she showed me the note. had blood on it, and they had to bury their son that week. And I wanted to go to the funeral. And so she said she would let me know when it is and they would get back to me. And then they made a decision that they wanted to keep the funeral for family only, that they didn't want people to know that it was a suicide. And I just said, they were both doctors. I said, doctor, I said, look, I'm really sorry. I said, I had every intention of coming here. And I tried to call your son several times. I couldn't get him. They're like, we know. I just wish you would have been on the earlier train. I didn't have any control. I know. He really felt a purpose to hang around you. And then they told me that he had tried to take his life many times before, and that Craig was very depressed. And Craig, I know that I didn't know you as well as I would like to. We just started becoming friends. I'm sorry for whatever challenges you had in your life. And I'm sorry for the fact that you had to end your life. I know it was not an easy life for you. And I send you off my blessings to hope that you're well and also your parents, because I know this was not an easy thing. It's the first time I ever went to college and having a friend I knew that killed himself. And they just didn't know what to say. And they didn't want me to come to the funeral. They thought it was too painful. And they also thought that I'd be accused and yelled at by different people because if I would have been there, he wouldn't have killed himself. And I was like, no, I'm feeling bad enough. And so I bring this up to you because if somebody has their own joy, right, they can do something else, right? And I think sometimes in life, we put a lot of pressure on others to make us happy. I don't care if this is a friendship, it's a romantic relationship. Realize that you need to make yourself happy in life. You need to be grateful for what you have in life, and you need to know that you need to love yourself. So tonight, I want you to understand that it's about being happy. So focus on how to make you happy. What kind of things would you do? Would you say? Would you be part of to give yourself a great life? What kind of things would those be? I know this was a little bit moving tonight, but I hope you got some value out of this. I know I did, because being happy in life, I mean, getting stood up at a bar or at a restaurant is no big deal, but still not right. But having somebody that would kill themselves because someone didn't show up, I don't have words. I don't have words for that. I know that if Craig was still here today, I know we'd be great friends. And I know we probably would have supported each other in our careers. Because the little bit that I did know him, whatever I wanted to work on, he was always supportive. And whatever he wanted to work on, I was supportive as well. Even when everybody else thought things were crazy. So the lesson tonight is remember, ladies and gentlemen, to please know that you have the power, you have the potential to make yourself happy. Don't rely on others to make you happy because they may just disappoint you, and you are worth a lot more than that. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm John C. Morley, serial entrepreneur, with a very moving moment here tonight. Hope you'll support the channel. Love, like, Curious Market. Comment below. Have you ever had a situation where you relied on someone else to make you happy? What would it have been like if you could have made yourself happy in the situation? Tag your friends, your colleagues and associates. Share this out with everyone you know on social media. And then go to my YouTube channel, John space C space MRLEY space serial entrepreneur, and look for that key phrase, help keep our content free. And make the choice to buy my team and I a cup of coffee. We'll be so grateful with those pennies and dollars. Click on that PayPal link, buy my team a cup of coffee. We will take those pennies and dollars you donate and invest them into new hardware, new technology, new equipment, new software, new staff, and even new facilities to give you the most jaw-dropping, motivational, inspirational content that will get you to understand, that will get you to believe and achieve. Because your life is about showing up. But when you show up, you better believe, or you never will achieve. Incidentally, ladies and gentlemen, I know you love my hat. We'll be having information in the next 2 to 4 weeks about how you can get one of your own hats with either Believe and Achieve on it, your QR code, your business branding, logo, or phrase. Whether you need one or you need hundreds of them, we produce them right in-house at one of my companies. It has been an amazing privilege and pleasure, even though tonight was a little bit of a moving night. But just realize that you have so much potential to make yourself happy. Why do you rely on other people to make you happy when you can make yourself happy first? Have yourself a great rest of your night, and I'll see you tomorrow.